Good morning, friends. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The topic today was my icebreaker, and unbeknownst to you guys, this is going to be a gloriously painful experience. not for the actual act of presenting to you. Irish people in general have a disposition and nervousness when speaking about oneself. So we've been cultured and pressed since a young age not to speak about ourselves. So that's just part of our DNA. We deflect and we try and shine the light on other people. So anyways, in my notes. Okay, so I've decided to have a little bit of fun with this speech. I've given it a title. Its title is Me, Myself, and I.
All right.
I'm originally born and raised in Dublin, Ireland. I was raised in a happy, humble, and hard-working home. My household consisted of my beautiful mother, my father, and yours truly. As you can tell, I was probably babied a little bit. I was a mother's boy, of course. I was her dote. She looked after me. My father was a salesman for a very high-level and reputable potato chip company. He was one of the executive salespeople there, so he had a very good job. And my mother was a stay-at-home mother. She looked after me. In my early years, I was educated in a Catholic all-boys Christian Brothers school. I'll say that again, it was an all-boys school. And as a caveat to that, by extension, I had very little exposure to the female species. And by extension of that, I formulated a mild or somewhat anxiousness or itchy irritability when dealing with females. But thankfully, since coming to this fine country at the age of 19, that's since been quelled. Thank you, American ladies. I appreciate that. Upon graduation from my high school, I was fortunate enough to receive a scholarship to come to this fine country. I decided to play soccer and also pursue a degree. I have my Associate of Arts degree. I have a Bachelor of Arts in Exercise Science, and I have my Master's in Education in Exercise Science. So, as you can tell, I'm pretty goal-oriented. Whatever project I try and do, I try and finish. But also I'm very specified in a singular field. I want to be the best at what I do in performance and sports and movement. So that's why I chose that field. So that's chapter 1. Chapter 2, myself. Who is myself? Well, obviously, by now you've probably put it together. I'm a soccer coach. I'm a full-time soccer coach by trade. I coach college, and I coach the kids. I coach at Georgia Gwinnett College, just up in Stone Mountain. And I also do the babies. I do the U13 girls. Okay, so obviously there's two totally different skill sets for that. For the men, I'm very demanding. I'm very instructive. I'm on them. I grill them. But with my babies, we have fun. We play, and you know, I like them, and I kind of think they like me too. So we get along. I like to keep fit. I like to read. I exercise. And I'm kind of dabbling in this new thing called intermittent fasting. I'm not sure if any of you guys have heard it before, but what it is, it's a dietary, I wouldn't say plan, it's more of a structured schedule. And what I mean by that is, I take all of my caloric intake from 12 p.m. up until 8 p.m. So for 16 hours I'm fasting, henceforth why I'd love to eat every single one of those muffins, and I'd eat the leg off that table. So, at 12 p.m., that's when I'm at my happy place. But it's to keep my weight down. I can't ask my men to be fit athletes if I can't do it myself. So I try to embody, you know, an example or whatnot. Last part of chapter 2. I like to read, but I'm dabbling in this new art of meditation and yoga. I'm quite poor at yoga, thus forth. I haven't had very good experiences just yet. But I like to jump into things 2 foot and be open and be willing to learn new patterns. So I'm trying day by day. And the meditation stuff is just solely to help me perform better with this stuff. Try and clear out the mind, calm me down. Lastly, chapter 3. Who is I? Well, I is obviously self. Who do I identify with? Who is my higher power? Well, guys, obviously since being indoctrinated and educated in a Christian Brothers school, we were very, I would say, the Bible was pounded into us from a very young age, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing. They gave me some very strong fundamentals and values and beliefs. But I don't necessarily subscribe to those very values at this point in my life. And the reason being, random short story, kind of a side note. About 5 years ago, when I came to this fine country, I went into a black barber's. Not sure if that's grammatically correct, but that was what it was. I went in, and on the wall, sorry, my barber, Toby, great guy, we were having a conversation, and on the wall is this dude with his arms pinned to a cross, his legs pinned to the cross as well, but he was black, okay? Well, to me, I'd never heard of this. This completely confused me, and you know, me and Toby starts having a conversation like, who's this guy? You know, I've never seen him. Well, you know, much to my disbelief and shock is I didn't realize just because of our geographical upbringing, those folk, or African American family, they follow an African American Jesus, whereas I only knew of the white Jesus. So this kind of threw a spanner in my works. I didn't know what to think. It kind of confused me. But what it did say to me is I think we have a common union, we have a bond. Just because of our geographical upbringing doesn't necessarily mean I'm right, they're wrong, they're right, I'm wrong. It's just we have different values, okay? And you know, within all the different religions, I've found that, you know, our central tenets and our central, you know, themes is love one another, care for one another, look out for one another, and spend time with one another. If we can do all that and dispel what society is kind of driving down our throats nowadays, I think we'll get on with one another, you know? I don't think we need to point who's wrong and who's right. But that's where I'm at on my journey, guys, at this very moment. So I'm open to new religions, philosophies. I kind of take the best bits from each. As you can tell, at this very moment, I'm a guy who's very concrete in his beliefs and mindsets. Not really. But I'm open for learning. So either way, I've enjoyed sharing my time with you. Every week I turn up here and I at least try. And hopefully I've done a half-decent job of sharing with you, me, myself, and I.